Good morning, traders, and this is your Dow Jones, the Wall Street 30 day trade setups for today, or the US 30 as it's also known on some of your charts. So essentially there are a couple of things at play here. So the first one I just want to highlight here is we had that channel break, right? We had a channel break and a 1 bar retest of it, and that measured move is pretty much something like this. Okay, so that target is still in play. That takes us to the previous high. So that is the first thing that I want to just highlight. Okay, then the second thing that I want to highlight is there's always this little case of rinse and repeat. And what we have here is a smaller flag based on the last daily move, which brings us to here, which then takes us up to the top there, which will bring us to an all-time high, and that takes us to 30,600 or 30,700. Okay, so that's the picture that I see at the moment. The only challenge is within this flag, we've got tails to the downside, tails to the upside, massive engulfing range bar, and then we've got inside bar. Okay, so that's just big up, big down, big confusion. That's really not something that you want to be trying to do guesswork with on the higher time frames. Now, if we start looking at the lower time frames, you can see yesterday was pretty much up and down all day, and then it just, the volatility just increased through the day. And the reason for that was because you had the politicians playing their stimulus game, and you'd get a positive message from good old Nancy, and then you'd get some negative news, and then you'd get some other tweet coming out. So anyway, the market's just in, well, let's not say turmoil, but it's sort of marking time at the moment. And we're going to continue marking time, I think, until we get something decent. So this flag, based on the daily pattern, could very well just turn out to be a range, something like that, until the elections are over. And that's pretty much what I think is going to transpire. Okay, so with that in mind, what do we have here? So you see we've got this massive engulfing below the moving average, then we've got an inside bar, and we're making these gentle bars to the upside. We are testing an area of resistance at the moment, and I'm going to leave that in there, pretty much almost in the middle of the range. So on the moving average is flat. You can see already what's where this is going. Now if you look at the hour, big move down, sideways, big move down, let's call it sideways to up, regained the moving average at the moment, but we're going to have to get above this 28,463. So we want to see a break above it, we want to see a retest of it, and then you have an opportunity to look for some sort of target up here in the 28,800 area. But there is a little ambush area right there. So you can see all these tails to the downside here. You can see it found support there. Okay, and we found a little bit of support here before breaking below it. So that would be 28,715. Okay, so that's kind of the view I see. Now, we do have a gap to the downside. All the gaps to the downside this week have been closed the same day so far. So I would expect the same thing. I'm just going to pop down to 15 minutes here because this is kind of where we have to be trading at the moment. Okay, so you can see yesterday's gap did close, I think. I don't see it on the charts. There was a gap there. There wasn't really a gap with that there. So there was yesterday's gap. So that closed pretty well. Now we've got this fairly big gap at the moment for this morning. And logic says to me that it will more than likely close. So what does that mean? I'm definitely not looking to be long in this area we're at the moment, and I'm also not looking to be short here. So I'm kind of sitting and waiting. The sure bet trade for me would be round gap close, another breakdown to 28,140. That would give me some kind of confidence that we can just try for another long with a relatively tight stop loss. The other thing that's going to get me long is a break above these levels up here. Okay, so that's 28,8817, or let's just say keep it at that. Let's not take the first level. So it's going to have to break above the range, 28,817, and that would get me long. Okay, and obviously the long would be then for the all-time high. Now, until something transpires, that's kind of my view on the world at the moment. Now, any move down to this area, you're going to be able to do sort of a 70 to 100 point stop loss, and more than likely look for like a 200 to a 250 point gain. So it's a reasonably good trade. It's not nothing to be frowned on, but that's a setup that I see at the moment. We are deviating from the moving average now as well. You can see that moving average is not really pointing to the upside, and even if we drop down to the 5 minutes, you can see there we are pointing to the upside, but you can see exhaustion bar through a level coming back to test it. And you can see the 5 minutes. If I just go back to yesterday, just to give you, if we can call it installing some confidence in your trading ability, the 5 minutes in the European session, look at how structured it is. Okay, so there was a short trend to the downside, trend reversal here, and then up above the moving average and to the upside. The minute you start seeing gaps up like that, you know something's brewing, and then the volatility stepped in. And that, when the volatility stepped in, it's kind of difficult to actually continue trading, because you're above and below the moving average. That's just indicating you that there's confusion. Okay, so just apply that same logic to this morning. You can see nice and gentle. Wait for the European Open. You should probably have a gentle attempt up until about 2 hours before the US market opens, and then the volatility will start stepping up. Okay, as the Americans start waking up and start joining the party, then that's when we start getting the volatility stepping up. So I'd expect the same thing again. I'm also expecting this gap to close as well today. I'll be very surprised that it doesn't. The only thing that's not going to allow the gap to close is a stimulus package that is signed. And then I think you're probably going to find a rocket ship up to the top of the range at least before they decide what they're going to do then. Okay, so anyway guys, that's it for me today. A really cautious day, and I think it's going to be a cautious 2 weeks at the moment, and only really looking for the sure bet trades at the moment. So patience is key. Something will happen, something's going to give shortly, and you just need to be on the right side of that when it does give. Okay, anyway guys, that's it for me today. Hope it helps, and we'll catch you later. Cheers for now.